All right, folks, look, this one's just going to be a rant, okay? It's just going to be a straight out rant. It kind of has to be, but before I rant a little bit, maybe I should read to you the article that is setting this rant off. It is an article that is entitled, U.S. Tells Israel Nuclear Deal with Iran is Off the Table for Now. Now, of course, by the time you watch this video, this article will literally be 1 week old, but it is undoubtedly a doozy. All right, let me read this to you. It says the Israeli news website, Yemyan Israel, said it has learned that new nuclear deal between the U.S. and Iran is off the table and will not be signed in the foreseeable future. Now, the newspaper didn't cite any sources, but said that this message had been conveyed to Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid in recent conversations with President Biden and other U.S. officials. Other major Israeli publications picked up the story. As Bloomberg writes, top U.S. officials have told Israel's Prime Minister Yair Lapid that a nuclear deal between Iran and world powers won't be signed in the foreseeable future. Folks, I'm going to rant just a little bit because I've said it. The JCPOA is garbage. It wasn't worth the paper that it was typed on or written on. Would be even good for toilet paper, quite frankly. Be pretty uncomfortable. But the reality of it is, and maybe that's a little bit too much information, but the reality of it is, I have said this again and again and again and again. Any attempt to come against Israel is an attempt to come against God. And you will never succeed in fighting against God. Why? Because God's the creator of the universe and he is always the victor. And God has told us he will bless those that bless Israel and he will curse those that curse Israel. And the bottom line is, anytime a nation chooses to make it their foreign policy to work with or continue to partner with nations that come against Israel is an action of aggression in and of itself, and they put themselves in the category of destruction for their nation. The worst foreign policy you can ever have as a world leader is to come against the interests of Israel and is to, in essence, curse Israel by supporting garbage against the nation. The bottom line is, and this is great advice to any world leader, if you want your country to be blessed, you need to support Israel. If you want it to be cursed, keep working up against them. Put up worthless agreements like the JCPOA. Choose to allow nations like Iran to have power to come against Israel. And here's the news. Iran will lose, you will lose, and so will anybody else that supports coming against the nation. The nation of Israel will not be defeated. Like Amos says, God has planted them back in their land. We've seen evidence of it. Never, ever, ever, ever to be removed again. Let that sink in everybody's head. End of rant.